Hi, and welcome to the Distinguished Twins podcast. I'm Kane.
Professor Anderson, back at it again, you feel me?
Okay, right on.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
You looking nice today, sir.
Hey, I was just about to say that.
Yeah?
You look spectacular.
Well, it's just a little something. No, I'm saying, I appreciate it, man. You looking real nice. I like the bow tie.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Very
like the
clean.
three-piece.
Yeah, it's got enough twos, Figured I'd go ahead and drop a 3 today.
I like it. That's a great touch.
I appreciate
just make you look that much more professional today.
I appreciate it. Likewise.
Thank you,
You
sir.
look very nice, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're a handsome man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Some people say I look like somebody out in this world, but
Yeah?
I don't think
I don't
there's
know.
anybody out there that look like this.
Nah, they only made one you, man. You're a sharp dude. Just saying.
Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it, sir.
No problem at all.
No, man, today, I was on my way over here to the studio and I got a flat tire. Now, the frustrating thing is in the past 3 or 4 months, this is my third flat tire.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah, you may want to take a different route. Just saying.
that's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know where you're driving, man. You may want to, stop going off road. But go ahead.
Man, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And luckily they're run flats. So
Okay.
I was able to just finish my drive and then, I'll drive it back home.
Right.
But that's my third one. I'm thinking, like, what is it? I bent
lot
my
of money.
wheel the first time. I had to switch wheels
Yeah.
but
Oh, that's why you ended up switching up the wheels on your car?
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, I bent the wheel and I'm like, I'll get it repaired, but obviously
Right.
the stocks, they're great, whatever.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you made it, though.
Now, with that being said,
Yeah.
I felt like that was a distraction.
I
It
believe
almost
yeah.
threw me off.
Yeah.
It almost threw my energy off. I was like, man, we got to shoot this episode,
Yes, sir.
and this is obviously what I'm ready to do. I'm
Absolutely.
into it.
Yes, sir.
And just dealing with that, I was like, man, I can't believe now I got to tend to this.
Right.
But it's fine because it's part of life.
Okay,
People
yeah.
get flat tires every day.
Right,
So,
exactly.
it is what it is. But
Right.
with that being said, also, the first topic we wanted to discuss today was eliminating distractions.
Yes, yes.
I know I posted a video this week just speaking about eliminating distractions if you want to go to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, right, about distractions.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, the whole football story.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so I'll try to, be short with this. I'm kind of going to, get on my soapbox.
Yes, sir.
But so I was just a story about football. Once we graduated college, we started training. We didn't enter the NFL draft. We started training,
Yes.
and we had our mentor at the time, Toby Wright. He played 8 years in the NFL, was a fantastic strong safety.
Yeah.
If you ever like football, and
Look him up.
Yeah, one of the hardest hitters you've ever seen.
One of the hardest hitters you've ever seen.
Ever.
Extremely talented. Just succumbed to the nature of the game with all the injuries.
Exactly.
It's a collision sport, and he was like a runaway train anytime
Exactly.
he hit somebody. So
Yeah.
as hard as he would hit them, I mean, your body's going to pretty much feel it at the same time as well. So, But yes, great mentor.
Great.
Forever grateful for Mr.
Yeah.
Toby Wright.
He did a lot for us. He showed
Yes, he
us
did.
a lot of great principles on how to be men.
Yes.
He taught us a lot.
Yeah.
But with that, also, I wanted to piggyback off of his injuries. Obviously,
Yes.
We didn't stop playing football because of injuries, but we had some injuries.
Right.
And last week, I know I spent the better part of the week in a neck brace.
Yeah.
And this was because I don't know where it came from. Now, I still work out,
Yes, sir.
obviously, but I feel like it stems from football injuries.
Absolutely. No doubt
I'm
about it.
34 years old, and I feel like I'm strong. I can still lift a lot, and I can still dunk a basketball, and
Yeah.
I run and all these things, and
Right.
so I can try to slow that aging process. But I was in a neck brace, and I'm just laying there. I had to go to the doctor. I had to get a shot in my neck. I had to
Yikes.
sleep with a neck brace on.
Yikes.
Yeah, and
I didn't know all that. I knew your neck was a little messed up. But
yeah. But I'm only mentioning this because you just have to, as a parent, when you are, when you learn things, when you learn lessons, and when you have children, I think you're supposed to teach them better or show them better.
Period.
And maybe not put them at such risk that you had to put yourself at. Now, football did great things for us. Like, as my brother mentioned previously, it helped to bring us out of, the situation we were in, the city we were in. We needed a new environment so that we can see that the world wasn't as hostile as we thought it was.
Right.
So, but anywho, let me get back on track with distractions. And like, we just kind of got distracted a little bit.
Right.
But,
Yeah, a little deviation.
No, but I feel like that was valuable, though.
It was.
Yeah,
it was. You had a little substance to it. So.
Okay, it was a little something to it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
like it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, but so I was thinking about distractions. Now, when we graduated, Toby, he was like, we were training. Now, at this point, we were talented, and we were strong and we worked hard, but we definitely didn't work as hard as we could have.
Right. Bottom line.
And so I remember graduating, I'm like, man, I'm done with college. Came back to Arizona and, started training. And Toby was right there. He was always there for us. And, as I'm training, I was kind of getting into like the nightlife, right? I'm like, I don't have much to do.
Exactly.
I had supportive parents. They were looking out for my brother and I,
Yes.
with some finances. We crashed around with people. I had a longtime friend who looked out for us and helped us out.
Definitely.
We got a chance to stay with her. And, but anywho, we were training, and I just felt like, man, I'm putting in work.
Yeah, right.
We felt like, man, I know I was coming off of shoulder surgery, the year before, and so I was trying to rehab that. Mm-hmm. But I said all of that to say this: I was distracted.
Yes,
I was. I remember.
Didn't even know it. Right.
I remember Toby was like, expecting he like get up early.
Yeah.
Now we just graduated college. Now, mind you, we did do morning runs. If anyone knows about if they play college football.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if other sports do it as well, but we would get up at
baseball
4 or 5
does.
in the morning. Baseball.
Yeah. Yes.
We would train in the cold.
Yeah.
We would get up and we would run and things like that. But we just graduated college. We're like, I'm sleeping in.
Time to sleep in.
in.
I don't really know too many people, especially college students.
Yes.
Once you graduate with your bachelor's degree, it's like you kind of want to break.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough not to have to roll right into the working world.
Yes.
We wanted to pursue professional sports, and we were allotted that opportunity.
Yes.
Again, with the support of our parents.
Yes.
And other people around us who loved us. Period. And for me personally, my wife was helping. She was working, and so it was like cool. Like I had that opportunity to just focus on football. But like you said, we started to kind of just become distracted. From what we actually came out here for.
Exactly.
So yes, sir.
Yes, and it was a great time. It was a great nightlife here in Arizona at that time.
Yes, man, it was a lot
good.
going on. It was fun.
It was fun.
Right.
But I remember, the more I went out, I remember Toby. He was, a man of very few words. He would try to almost speak in parables to get you to get it.
Exactly.
And we were. I'm like, speak directly.
Bottom line,
let me know, man. What am I doing? But also, to his credit, we weren't probably the most receptive.
Bottom line.
At those times.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And so I remember I went to Vegas.
Yes.
I was like, that's no problem.
Right.
Now, if you know anybody, we graduated in December, right after our football season.
Yeah.
And we went straight to training. If you know anything about the NFL draft, it's in February.
No, the combine.
The combine, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the draft is in what, April?
April, there you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, the combine.
Yeah.
So everybody trains and they hit the combine, and then you start doing workouts for NFL teams or whatever professional teams.
Right.
And so we were, training, and what was I going to say?
You had gone to Vegas.
Yeah, I went to Vegas, but what I'm trying to say is that was a short window to get ready.
It was.
For whatever you say is your dream.
Exactly.
Right?
What's your passion?
What's your passion?
Yeah, you
right?
claim that something's your passion, but you're trying to mix in a whole bunch of other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Right.
You have to, be on a straight line towards that, and you have to have a definite purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And indefinite means there's no doubt.
Bottom line.
Your purpose is your purpose. You have to be convinced that this is for me, right? And I'm for it, right?
And it has to show in your actions.
Exactly.
You can say it all day long.
Your actions have to be consistent.
Yes.
But so, we worked out, did well, didn't wow like we expected to.
Yes, sir.
So back to the drawing board, right? So we get back to training hard. We ran good times when we, worked out for the scouts or whatever. Mm-hmm. But back to the drawing board, we didn't get a contract.
Right.
Started working even harder, started working out with other people that are in the same boat.
Yeah.
Started training them as well, running, all these things.
Yeah.
It was such a great cohort.
Yes, it was.
We all worked out, and I believe everybody got better. Everybody ran their fastest times.
Definitely.
Their strength.
We pushed each other.
Yes. And I just remember, other leagues came around. They had a draft. We did these workouts, did very well. And I felt like we were more focused this time.
Yes, absolutely.
We did very well, and nothing happened.
Right.
Crushed.
Absolutely devastated.
You're
talking about since we were 5 years old, all we ever thought of was playing professional football.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, and we knew we were good.
Yeah.
But hard work can beat talent.
Bottom line.
And talent doesn't work hard.
Bottom line.
And so...
Hello.
Back to the drawing board. Literally cried. I'm like, what? I felt like I was doing everything right, but it won't come right when you say, okay, all right, I know I messed up the first time.
There you go.
Give it to me now. It's not going to happen like that. You're going to be tested.
Yeah.
You're going to be tested for whatever you want.
Yes.
And so I remember I was training harder than I've ever trained.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend at the time, Bobby.
Yes, Bobby. Yes, sir.
B. Payne.
Yes, sir.
He was out.
He
had got. I believe he was drafted
by the 49ers.
49ers. He played in the NFL, and then he was after he was done playing with them, he was still working out. But anywho, so we're working out, whatever. We would hang out a lot. And I remember one day I was at the gym and I'm training hard. I'm like, I'm in my bag. I'm just like, I'm getting what I want. And I saw Bobby. He was always on the phone. I mean, he has, when I say the gift of gab, Bobby had the gift of gab.
Sell water to a well.
I'm telling you, yes.
No doubt.
So I'm sitting there, I'm training, and he on the phone, and he walk over, and he say, Kane, he like, you want to play? I'm like, what do you mean, play? He like, you want to play football? I'm like, yeah. He like, you don't care where you play? I said, as long as they pay me, I'm not going to go play for free. Like,
right.
He's like, so, you don't care about this, that? I'm like, no, I don't care. So he handed me the phone. So I get on the phone, and it's a guy named Andre Burns, call him Dre.
Yes, sir.
One of the best people I've ever met.
In life.
Yeah, in life.
Genuine brother.
So genuine. This brother's so genuine. He was very professional, the way he handled the call. He was asking me, hey, Bobby tells me that you looking to play. He's like, do you have any film? I'm like, yes, I just recently acquired a little bit of film. So I showed him. It wasn't a lot, but it was good enough. And he said, all right. He said, can you run like a 4.6? I said, I run 4.2.
Right.
At this point.
Who are you talking to, man? Hold on now. I earned every one of those tenths of that second. Come on now.
So, I'm thinking, like, why would he ask me that? That was an insult, Nah, I was just kidding. But no, I'm like, I run a 4.2, whatever. And he like, okay. So I'm thinking that's going to seal the deal. I'm like, man, send me the contract.
Right.
So he was like, hey, listen. He said, I can't promise you a contract, but what I can do is you can work out. If you make the team, it's a go.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, cool. At this time, this was an indoor arena league football team that was in Texas.
Yeah.
And so at this time, my brother had ended up being signed with the Arizona Rattlers. Uh-huh. I was just sitting there because, he got signed before me, and I'm just like, man, what did I do wrong, But, I get this call, and I'm just locked in. It was probably 3 weeks before I had to show up in Texas to work out. Yeah. And so, I'm going nuts in the weight room. I'm running,
Right.
I'm like, I ain't going home, So I had my mind set. I said, I've eliminated all distractions. You know, I had a couple people in my life that that believed in me.
Yes.
I believed in them. I wasn't going out. So I went, and when I went to Texas, I had a bag, a Nike gym bag. I had my helmet.
Yeah.
I had shoulder pads, all my football stuff.
Right.
And I literally brought 5 pairs of gym shorts and 5 t-shirts.
That was it.
That was it. I had no jeans. I had no dress shoes, no casual, nothing. Just tennis shoes and just maybe a couple pair of tennis shoes. But my mindset was, I'm not going home.
Not going home.
Because at this time, I eliminated all distractions. I knew this is mine. I knew it.
Yes.
And so I show up. You know, Dre picked me up from the airport, took me to my hotel. You know, because at this time, the living quarters, I couldn't live there because I wasn't under contract.
There you go.
So, you know, Dre, you know, we went to the gym, we worked out. At this time, he was a coach. He was like a player coach. So he took me, whatever, we worked out, and we went through camp, and I dominated. I dominated. You know, I made the team. You know, I started. But, you know, I said that to say I eliminated the distractions, and I got what I wanted. Yeah. And there was no excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses this time around.
There were no excuses.
No excuses. I just knew for sure this was mine. It was different.
Yeah.
You know, because I had doubts going into the other workouts.
Yeah.
Right? And so it brings me to this point. I know I'm taking the time.
It's okay.
But I thought about this,
Take
right?
your time. Yes, sir.
So, you know what a power grid is.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So you have an electric supplier, power company, say out here, say SRP or APS.
Right.
They have power grids. That's how they send the power to their consumers.
Yes.
Right? Now I'm talking about energy now.
Energy.
Right? You have to realize that you are the SRP.
Yes.
Or the APS. And your dream, right? This is your dream. This is you.
Yes.
Right? You have to have a direct current
to
your dream of energy.
Bottom line.
If you want it.
Hello.
Right?
Talk to me.
You have to have that.
Yeah.
Now, your distractions can disrupt this current.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They can kill this whole current, and now you don't have this energy fully going to your dream.
Yeah.
So if you miss out on it, you can't blame, you know, anybody.
But yourself.
But yourself.
Yes.
These distractions you have to eliminate.
Yes, sir.
Now, so you have SRP, they're sending power to our studio.
Yes.
Right? They're sending power. Do you know one of the biggest threats to that power connection? Do you know what one of the biggest threats is?
What is it?
Squirrels.
Oh, makes sense.
Squirrels,
right?
Right?
Right.
Squirrels. They can take out a whole power grid.
Right.
From chewing through the insulation.
Yes.
Right? So we can be in the studio like we are right now. We're talking and boom, the power can go out because of a squirrel.
A squirrel.
Think about that.
Chewed through that.
We see squirrels around. Now, it doesn't mean that when I say eliminate distractions, we don't kill the squirrel.
No, you don't kill it.
We just have to be proactive in how to battle that squirrel because squirrels are, their teeth are very sharp.
Extremely.
They eat seeds, nuts, right?
Right.
Their teeth are very sharp. As they eat these seeds and nuts, it causes their teeth to file down. Their teeth are constantly growing.
Exactly.
So they're always sharp.
Yes.
They can always chew through these power lines and this insulation.
Right.
Right? But we need squirrels. They're vital to the ecosystem. They eat seeds and nuts. And what they do
fertilize.
Is, exactly. They bury a lot of them.
Then they bury them as well.
And so they'll dig them up and they'll eat.
Yep.
But the ones they forget about, you see plants grow.
There we go.
You see trees grow.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's also another food source for other insects or animals or whatever.
There you go. Exactly. So they're very vital. However, so what I'm saying is if you have your dream.
Yeah.
Now these squirrels just run around, they jump, they all fluffy, and you'd be like, oh, it's a squirrel. But you don't realize how big this distraction can be.
Preaching the word.
Right? This can kill.
If I had my wallet, I'd give you some money, man. God. I like that. Yes, sir.
This distraction, you see it around all the time, but you don't realize the danger.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Right?
Right? And the thing is I've even read where squirrels can be more dangerous than terrorists. than terrorists.
Wow.
Because obviously if a terrorist attacks,
Yes.
they can knock out a power grid.
Yes.
Right? And then now you're susceptible to, attacks.
Yes.
And so, right?
This is heavy.
Right?
I like that.
So when you want your purpose and your dream,
Yes.
you have to eliminate those distractions.
You have to eliminate them.
That's why every day
And control them.
you control them. Exactly.
Yes.
You control them. If for instance, say, like with Mike Tyson.
Yes. Mike Tyson, I forget, was it Customato?
I think it was Customato.
But in order to keep Mike focused, whenever he was going into a fight, he would tell him no sex, right? So he couldn't have sex, right? Mike is this world-renowned champion. He's a god, self-proclaimed god in the ring, right? And so, we got Mike right there, Iron Mike, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, in order for him to stay focused on his opponent, destroying his opponent, he had to control those distractions or eliminate those distractions. So, one of his biggest distractions was women, right? Were women. So he had to control that in order for him to focus and to get to his goal and become the world champion. And that's what he was able to do for a certain period of time until he ran into a distraction, which was a woman, and whatever went on, it happened or it didn't happen, whatever happened. So it went on, it knocked him right off his path, and then next thing you know, he was fighting an uphill battle ever since, he came back to the ring.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. And then thanks for bringing that point. Seriously.
Yes.
Because we just don't realize, like, mind you, it's okay for you to want to hang out with, a significant other.
Yes.
But you got to control that.
You have to control that.
How much of your energy are they taking?
I mean, and that's one of the biggest things. We've heard stories of guys, even guys with NFL opportunities,
Yes.
but they were distracted. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking bad against women. That's certainly not the case.
No.
But they were distracted by women. Yes. One thing that Toby taught us is men move mountains, but women move men.
Yes.
Women, in my opinion, are the most powerful beings on this planet.
Yes.
I mean, they just have that power, man, to control a lot.
Yes.
And so when you're talking about, like you say, eliminating distractions, that could be friendships, that could be relationships with family members. It could be too much partying. Video games,
yes.
That may keep you up all day and night.
Yep.
So if you are serious about something, you have to ensure that this is absolutely what you want, and you have to control your environment, control your thoughts, control your actions and what you're doing on a daily basis, control the things that come out of your mouth. So you have to be able to focus on whatever it is that you want. And again, this is another step in having the ability to distinguish yourself from the rest. You cannot act like everybody else. It's just like players going into the NBA. I remember, I believe it was Jay Williams. I think he was out there warming up a few hours before a game, and so Kobe walks in. Kobe sees him warming up, so Kobe, typically warms up early, but he went out there like, you're not gonna outdo me, and so Jay Williams knew he had to work that hard in order to prepare to play against Kobe Bryant. And so even if you're getting on a team, you can't do what Kobe does, right? You can't do what these other people do. These superstars, they get a chance to take some days off from practice. You can't do what they do because at one point they eliminated all distractions and they attained their goal. And so when you come in, you have to focus on you. You have to work with what you have. And so you have to eliminate those distractions. Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that you can do it and have that same level of production. So you have to be willing to focus and say, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to get to the point where I will distinguish myself from the rest of the crowd. That's what it has to be.
I mean, that's fantastic, seriously.
Yes.
I love this topic because, when we eliminated the distractions and we put in the work that was necessary.
Yes, sir.
We became desperate, we became obsessed.
Yes.
When we put in that work,
yes,
we ended up getting what we wanted.
The law of reciprocity.
The law of reciprocity.
Right.
And, I think that applies to everyone in their lives.
Bottom line, whether it's a job opportunity,
whatever
anything,
it is,
right?
You have to lock in, and you can't just expect to just roll it out there because you're great. They're not going to know you're great. They haven't seen your greatness yet.
And we can even talk about relationships, right? Say if it's a guy or a woman that you want, say if you're married or not, you're in a serious relationship. you have to eliminate distractions. If that person is who you truly want, everything else cannot exist. Sorry. Yes. Those things that can deter you from your affection or your energy towards that person, you have to eliminate those. If you really want something or you really want someone, you have to show that you're committed. You have to be committed to it. And that's the thing about a person. They can give you feedback and show you if you're committed or not, but a goal can't.
Exactly.
Only way that goal is going to show you that you weren't committed enough is when you don't achieve it.
There you go.
Bottom line. And that's, when you get to the end. Yes. So at least that person along the way can tell you, hey, you're not putting out enough. You're going to have to go a little harder if you really want me.
Exactly.
And so, but a goal, only way you're going to know, again, you just come up short. So again, isolate and focus. And lastly, what I'll say is when we talk about eliminating distractions, well, you can have drama come into your life. You can have other things come into your life to try to knock you off your pivot, but you cannot give energy to those things because we only have a limited supply of energy daily as human beings, which is why we require sleep. We have to get sleep so we can recharge our batteries and get up the next day and go hard. And so what's the greatest source of energy known to man?
The sun?
The sun,
yes.
Right? So if the sun were to burn out today, what would live? What would survive?
Yes. Nothing.
Nothing, right? This entire planet would become a block of ice, right? And so if that were the case, if the sun were to burn out, then again, those things are no longer receiving energy. Everything would die. Yeah. And so you have to treat those distractions the same way. If you give them energy, they're gonna live. If you don't give them energy, they'll perish, or you'll keep them contained for so long. Yeah. And so if you're talking about something, you're giving it energy. If you're thinking about something, you're giving energy. If you're putting actions towards something, you're giving it energy. Those are the three ways that you can give something energy. So be mindful of what you're talking about, what you're thinking about, and what you're doing. Once you can do those things, you eliminate those distractions, and you contain that, and then you can focus solely on your goal, which is what I was able to do with school, which is what we were able to do with school, what we were able to do with football, and so on and so forth. So I think that's extremely important, man. I think, just it all started from a flat tire. And we were thinking, oh, man, eliminate distraction. Because, again, you still said, I got to get over to the studio.
Absolutely.
We have to ensure that we shoot this episode. So great topic, bro.
Yeah,
great topic, man.
And that's when I speak about definite purpose, when you have a definite purpose,
yes,
in your mind, there's no surrender.
No surrender.
There's no retreat.
No, sir.
There's no, okay, well, yeah, I can just think about doing it. That's not a definite purpose.
No, sir.
If you know it's your purpose, you're going to do it, regardless.
Yes.
And I know it's just a flat tire, but it's frustrating. It can be frustrating for anybody.
Bottom line.
There's a lot of construction going on.
You can say, hey, bro, hey, man, let's do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
We can't afford to.
No.
We can't afford to. We have to stick to it.
Exactly. If
Bottom
you set
line.
the plan, follow through on it.
Yes, sir.
Eliminate those distractions and excuses.
Yes.
Right? And like I said, in my video, I believe in you, but you have to believe in you. That's the only way you'll eliminate those distractions. When you know it's for you,
yes,
it's time to stop playing around and get serious.
The bottom line.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And then, we've talked about that topic, and we can talk days about this.
Oh, my
right?
gosh.
We can tell a million stories.
Yes.
But, what I want to be able to transition to, Professor Anderson has a topic that he wants to speak on. It's a hot word that's been going around for the past few years. I think a lot of people have heard it and don't have the full understanding or the full context of what it is.
Absolutely.
And so, I'll let you.
Yes, and like you said, it's a hot word, and if you've heard the word, it's gentrification. And so this is something that I've been teaching on. It's something that I've conducted independent research on. And so I felt that, let me go ahead and share what I know, a little bit of what I know with the people. Of course, I don't know everything about it, but I guarantee I can give you some great points about it, and you'll know what it is by the time that I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the board.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right. Here we are with the topic of gentrification, as I stated that I would go ahead and talk about today. Gentrification, I know it's like one of those complex terms that sometimes when I used to hear it when I was younger, I never paid attention to it. I never thought that it really applied to me. But as I got older and I learned what it was, you may have heard other names for it, such as maybe urban revitalization or urban beautification or anything that's going to beautify an area, new developments and everything coming in and cleaning up the area, making it look nice or what have you. So this is what gentrification is. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and break it down a little bit more. I had the opportunity to conduct independent research on my own pertaining to gentrification out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I learned a lot about the topic. I've been teaching on it for a couple of years now. So I'm going to go ahead and just share a few key points about what gentrification truly is. So gentrification, typically what you're going to find with gentrification, you're going to find a lot of new developments which are coming into the area. So let's say, you start to see new restaurants maybe popping up in your area, or maybe new gyms, or one of the key things that you're going to see are new apartments, right? New condos going up. And so in some areas where maybe the property value is traditionally low, because that's pretty much going to be the target areas of when you're talking about gentrification, they're going to be, property value is going to be fairly low. If you look at a lot of professional sports teams, even some universities, you're going to find that whenever there's development going on, they're going to try to find the cheapest land possible in a lot of situations. So say like even USC, right? University of Southern California, they have, I believe, yearly out of any university, I believe in the United States, they spend the most on security yearly, because I believe they're planning right next to, I believe, Compton or Watts. And so what they have is they built their university on cheap land. Well, then now they increase their fees on their security or whatnot. So then next thing you know, again, here comes condos, and even for that area, here comes dorms and what have you. So again, when you're talking about gentrification, you're going to start to see a lot of new development, new condos, new apartments, new restaurants, gyms, everything of that nature going up, brand new things going up. So you're going to see that because property value is very low. This is where people want to move and go ahead and settle. Next, again, as you talk about property value, so whenever these things come into play, well, property value is going to increase. It's naturally going to go up. And so once property value goes up, then we're talking about even property taxes are going to go up, so on and so forth. So if someone lives in a lower income area, and you got a lot of these new developments going up around the area, and property taxes go up, well, it kind of spells out trouble for the lower income residents who are more so indigenous to that area. So it's gonna pretty much, in a sense, they're gonna big bank take little bank. And so the lower income residents are gonna eventually become overpowered because property value is going up. The people who are moving in, they have the money. They have the resources to make sure that they can pay their bills and take care of whatever that they need to in order to remain in the area. But for the lower income residents, chances are they're going to be pushed out. And so also what you're going to see is the police are going to be weaponized in a lot of these situations. I was looking at stories when I was conducting my independent research, looking at stories in Baltimore, heavily in Baltimore, and a lot of different places, Philly, Harlem. A lot of the gentrification that I was picking up on was happening on the East Coast, but you have a lot of gentrification which happens on the West Coast. We know about the permit patties and the barbecue Becky, right? Those internet stories that went viral. Well, what happened was in the situation up in Oakland, what happened was the area of Oakland, it was typically a lower income area. Well, then here comes new condos, new places, and so on and so forth. Well, what happens is you have an influx of new residents. So these new residents move into their brand new shiny condos and apartments. Well, they're not there to embrace the culture which existed before they arrived. They're there in a sense to more so eradicate and implement their own culture. So when you have people hanging out in the park and they're barbecuing, well, here comes a lady who is not indigenous to the area. She comes in and she wants to change the culture. She doesn't want these people out here barbecuing. They feels like they should have permits or what have you. So now what she does is she's gonna weaponize the police. So she's gonna call the police over something so trivial, and because next thing you know, she wants people getting tickets and so on and so forth. And what happens is people start to get small infractions, minor infractions for things that they typically would not have. Maybe on your street, you got a bunch of kids who used to hang out and play basketball in the middle of the street. And so now, but you have new residents moving in, so they're going to call the police, okay? Maybe they're out shooting basketball late at night, so now you're disturbing the peace or what have you. And typically how it's going to happen is the people with the money, they're pretty much going to have their problems heard. They're going to have their problems heard. They're going to have their problems addressed. So next thing you know, the police are weaponized. You're going to start to just have a lot more of those smaller infractions. Next thing you know, they start to mount and build up. And again, it starts to force people to out of the area and want to run away from it. And so next thing you know, you have displacement, which happens is again, from the property taxes increasing, let's say, when we're talking about homeowners, say if these lower income residents, say if, your grandmother, your grandfather, right, they've owned their home for about 30, 40 years. Well, your typical home loan is going to run about 30 years. So 30 years has passed. They own their home clear and free. They're into retirement, collecting Social Security, what have you. They're on a fixed income. So being on a fixed income, that's the most money you're going to receive monthly. So that's what we're talking about. So next thing you know, property taxes increase. Now grandma and grandpa can't keep up with it. So next thing you know, they're forced out of their homes because they can't maintain the property taxes. But what you will have in some situations is you're going to have some developers come in and say, hey, we'll offer you just a clean check of maybe $20,000 or $30,000, just a check that you can take and go ahead and get up and move. Well, when you're talking about just moving people out of areas, we're talking about place attachment. Some people are naturally just attached to certain places, right? Even let's look at the story of Nipsey Hussle. The corner, that he ended up buying, where his Marathon clothing store is, right? That shopping plaza, he hung out there a lot when he was growing up. He became attached to that place, and unfortunately, that's where he was murdered. And so he was attached to this place. It was something that was sentimental value to this place for him. It was bigger than business. A lot of memories, a lot of feelings involved in the situation. So in my research, when you're talking about place attachment, well, when some people are displaced, when they're forced out of their homes in these situations where we're talking about gentrification, well, what I've learned is that when people are displaced and they don't have a say-so in the matter, the grieving process is almost akin to maybe if one of their family members passed away, they lost someone that they loved. That's how deep it is. That's how deeply rooted it can be for a lot of individuals because, again, this is the only places they know. This is home. But because people with money all of a sudden say, you know what, we want to build something nice and shiny right here, and we don't care who lives here. We don't care what sentimental value is here. We're going to try to displace them and force them out anyway. And so if you look at up in Harlem, there was a story of gentrification up in Harlem where you have South Harlem. Well, we know what the rich history of Harlem is with the Harlem Renaissance and so many great legendary activists, musicians, artists that have come through there of African American descent, right? And so what happened is now you got Harlem, well, South Harlem became gentrified, and so you have these South Harlem residents who wanted to change the name of South Harlem. They wanted to change it to Soho, so S-O-H-O, instead of it bearing the name of Harlem, because whatever connotation that Harlem may have, being historically African American, well, they wanted to go ahead and change it. Well, the residents of Harlem weren't having it. And so they came up against it. I guess it was a vote amongst the city members or what have you, and they shut it down. And so, again, what you have is people coming in, they have not a care in the world most of the time for the cultures which existed previously. Instead, I'm in my new place, my new gated community, my new condo, where people who don't look like me shouldn't be, right? Saw a story in St. Louis where you had a guy who was in a high-rise apartment, brand new building. He's in the condo, he's going in, and the lady won't let him up the elevator because why? She doesn't think that he belongs there. So these are the things that people are going to encounter when you're talking about gentrification. It's all good and fine to put shiny things into these areas, but who are they here for? What are these shiny things here for? Are they here for the current residents, or are you looking to displace them? And 9 times out of 10, you're looking to push people out. And so what happens is in these situations is marginalization, which is It's a big word, but typically all it really basically means is that you're making people more so, in a sense, feel insignificant, inadequate. They're being othered as if they don't matter. So their opinions don't matter, what have you. And in my research, what I found is that when people are in areas like this, and say if you can't afford to remain in the area, well, what happens is that you have these new residents who move in, and they want to implement their own cultures. Again, they weaponize the police, but we also have to consider this, the political seats in that area. We know politics runs this country. So what you're gonna have is people, they're gonna get in. Well, next thing you know, if the new residents outnumber the old residents, well, we're gonna make sure that these political seats are occupied by people that we want in place. And so when those people get in place, next thing you know, the things that you want, now your voice isn't being heard. You're not being heard on the things that you want as far as what you want your community to look like, to represent. And so next thing you know, you feel insignificant because you stayed in this community, but truthfully, it's no longer your community because that same culture which you grew up on or that you dwelled in for so many years, it no longer exists because of the influx of the new residents. And then you have ostracization, Well, basically, this just means to be excluded. So again, you've already been made to feel insignificant. Now you're excluded. Now you really have no say-so. So at this point, you pretty much have to bite the bullet. Either you remain there and kind of just experience, maybe mistreatment. In my interviews, in my research of interviewing the indigenous residents of South Phoenix, and them actually clashing and interacting with the new residents of South Phoenix, what a lot of the people what we're saying is that, they were receiving dirty looks or dirty comments from the new residents who had moved in. So again, it's like in that ostracization process, you've already been eliminated, and now you have to pretty much sit here and say, either I'm going to sit here and endure this mistreatment, or I'm going to have to get up and go. And so in so many ways, you can be displaced from your community. And I'm not saying that it happens in every single situation, but it happens more times than not. Again, we've seen the stories that have gone viral. If it were not for social media, really think about how many stories that we've never seen of people being mistreated and abused because some people move into this new area because they have more money, because they know the new mayor, they know the city council members, and so now they can go ahead and flex their political muscle and pretty much have their way. And again, as we've already mentioned, weaponize the police. And lastly, when you look at gentrification, if we know what colonialism is, we know what colonization is, which is pretty much the overpowering of certain countries. If we look historically, the Western powers really just overpowered certainly countries such as Africa, the countries that are located in Africa, the continent of Africa, just invaded, overpowered, and still even to this day, you have neo-colonialism going on in Africa to this day. But the overpowering came at the hand of, let's just say, military powers. But what's happening now is there's still some military presence. Don't ever get that twisted. There's still military presence, but a lot of it is more so economical, financial, right? And so what gentrification has been said to be analogous to is colonialism, right? So what you have is people invading an area, invading a territory. You have no desire to maintain the culture that existed there. You're going to eradicate that culture, implement a new culture, and tell these people how they should be living their lives. And so that's pretty much what it comes down to. So again, you invade a territory, now it's yours, you make your stamp on it. Now the people who once existed there, they're long gone. And you'll see that in tons if you really read up on history, not in the history books that you're going to find in the K-12 education system, I'm sorry. But if you do your own independent research, you're going to see many more instances of when gentrification actually did occur, and it's still rapidly occurring around the country today. And the last thing I want to say about gentrification is this. If we're talking about America, we're talking about capitalism, right? We're talking about the ability to practice in ownership. Well, if someone owns a home or land, that's the most valuable asset, arguably the most valuable asset that any American truly has access to, right? And so if I own my home or I own this piece of land and I've sat on it and so it can accrue value or what have you, and I want to pass it down generationally, well, how can I do that if I'm being displaced from my home? If I have to give up this land for $20,000 to $30,000, and next thing you know, this developer is going to sit a house on it and sell it for no less than $500,000. And so I'm not getting my fair cut. And so what you have is the little man constantly being stepped on. What you have is the constant perpetuation of poverty. So this is another way how poverty has been perpetuated and how certain demographics of individuals, certain communities of individuals in this country have not been able to catch up and close that generational wealth gap. So when you really think about it, homes and land, it's a lot deeper than just, oh, well, you don't have the money, so you can't keep up, you got to go. It's much deeper than that. And so we have to be willing to be fair when we really want to sit back and try to understand why is the gap, the wealth gap so substantial, and it's only increasing. And so again, gentrification plays a big part of that as well. So with that being said, hopefully I said enough about gentrification. Of course, I have a lot more that I want to say, but that's my take on gentrification for today. Professor Anderson, signing out.
All right, we just had lessons from Professor Anderson. He spoke on the topic of gentrification. I hope you guys learned something.
Yeah, and I really do hope that you learned something. I tried to think of what are some of the just the key points of gentrification, of what leads up to it, and I wrapped it up with the after effects of what typically happens that a lot of people may not consider as far as, again, generational wealth and the wealth gap that exists in this country. And so with that being said, again, I'm glad that I was able to run through that. And I hope you guys learned something. Of course, I have tons of sources. Of course, I'm an academic. One thing you'll never get out of me nor Kane is any conjecture. Everything is substantiated with verifiable sources. So if anybody wants any of those sources for the information that I shared, please email us at distinguished.twins@gmail.com. And I will have no issues with sending those sources over directly to you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's funny because as you were speaking on it, because I was doing some reading as well, and when I was looking at gentrification, one of the biggest, I would say, influencers of gentrification today is Airbnb.
Ah, yes.
It's very popular, right?
Extremely.
It's a way for obviously people to generate, this income.
Yes.
And
capitalism. Sheesh.
Capitalism, right?
Oh my gosh.
And so now you have everybody, it's just like with Uber. Now everybody's a taxi driver.
Yes.
Now with Airbnb, everyone's into real estate, right?
Right.
'Cause I can get up and go buy the house next door, and I can rent this thing out, right?
Yes.
And make money off of it.
Oh my gosh.
But everybody.
Great point.
Yeah, you see people getting up now. They're going and looking through these impoverished neighborhoods, these impoverished areas.
Yeah.
And starting to get ready to sink their teeth in.
There you go.
So they can get a piece of the pie. So it's nothing. I won't knock it as if it's horrible, but just be conscious of what you're doing.
It's not what you do; it's how you
do it. Exactly.
That's what it comes down
and like
to.
You said, people who live there, they've been there.
That's
all they have.
Yes.
I guarantee these neighborhoods you're going into, they don't have good education systems.
Bottom line.
They don't have good parks.
Not yet.
They don't have those resources until they're gentrified.
Yes.
But you have to respect the people who were there.
You have to.
Because they contributed to the culture and they kept that area up as well as they could during that time. So
bottom line.
You just got to be conscious.
You have to be. You have to be mindful. Again, like you said, it's not necessarily what we do, it's how we do it.
Yes.
And again, you have to be considerate.
Yes.
You have to be considerate of people because one of the main things that you will hear us constantly talk about is being fair.
Yes.
Leveling the playing field. Giving people a fair opportunity. And if we're contributing to certain disasters of certain countries and cultures and populations of people, then what are we exactly doing?
Exactly.
Even for even the clothes that we wear. You know, who's producing these clothes? And
Exactly.
so I've definitely delved very deeply into that and wanted to make an impact on a global level.
Yes.
And how we can help, you know, certain situations. And there's a certain topic that I want to talk about. I'll touch on later about, you know, the Coca-Cola industry and, you know, how they were contributing to decimating indigenous communities.
Yes.
And so, you know, we enjoy certain products and we enjoy certain luxuries as Americans, but oftentimes we don't consider to whose detriment are we experiencing these luxuries and enjoying them. So just be mindful, man, and just, you know, just be fair. We're all about harmony, all about peace.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So how can we level the playing field? How can we make it fair and equitable for all involved? Because you have key stakeholders involved across the board.
Yes.
And so everyone deserves to have a voice.
Exactly.
No one deserves to feel marginalized nor ostracized in any situation, especially where they have already bought in and they have skin in that game.
Thank you.
And so that's ultimately the point. And we'll touch on many more topics as we move forward. And before I even wrap up my segment, I just want to say hi to my daughter, Mia. She watches the show religiously.
Hi, Nisi. I mean, a lot of people watch the show religiously.
Tons.
Just, you know, we want to continue to, you know, man, the support has been so great. And we're
can't thank you enough.
Extremely thankful because.
And my nephew, Santana, as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that we've always wanted to do is inspire the youth. And of course, our own children, you know, our nieces and nephews, whomever. But hopefully we can inspire other people's children as well because, you know, we do feel like we're contributing something.
Yes, and we want to make sure that people know this is kid-friendly.
Yes, it is.
There's a multitude of different things we can talk about that we've experienced.
Yes, sir.
This is the route we've chosen.
Yes.
So we want to make sure we keep it professional and once again, kid-friendly.
Yes.
And I want to ask a question as well. You know, we touched on the topic of eliminating distractions. My question is, what distractions do you feel you need to eliminate? Now, that might be like a sensitive area for some people, so I can modify the questions. In the past, what distractions did you eliminate?
Yes.
You know, that helped you to focus more and actually achieve your goal.
And most importantly, try to identify what hindered you from achieving that goal.
There you go.
When you feel like you found that, now it's your responsibility to control or eliminate that distraction.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Very, very well said. And
so, hey, Mia.
Hi, Mia.
Hey, Santana. Hey, everybody else out there.
Everybody. We love you. We love you.
Literally.
Honestly, we do.
Yeah.
You know, we understand that, you know, if you have a platform, just try to use it to help.
Period.
You know, don't just try to take advantage and say, oh, I want to make some money or this and that.
That's not what it's about.
We truly want to help. And we'll say this time and time again, and we have some things in the works.
Yes.
Where we're going to be helping, you know, with the community once again, with the nonprofit, obviously.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
The things that we do. We'll be sharing that.
Yes.
And hopefully we can get you guys involved as well. And
bottom line. And you will be involved.
You will be involved, all right?
Got to put your feet to the fire.
All right?
Absolutely.
Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or
Twitter.
And I'll have all those links up. Twitter.
Yes.
And also Snapchat as well. So,
yes.
we're getting a lot of those things. We're still, once again, in the infant stages. We're getting a lot of those things rolling.
Yes.
But I promise we love you. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to bring good content, make sure it's sound content. Credible content.
Yes.
And it's content that you can actually use.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you.
But we'll stop our talking now. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Right? That's a wrap for today.
We'll see you for episode
5.
Episode 5.
Yeah, we'll see you for episode 5. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today.
Yes.
Once again, we love you.
Yes.
And see you later.
Take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.